Hello and welcome to the Money Trail. Media is doing the ceremonial stories now on the 1 month of Hindenburg report. What has happened so far for the Adani group, its shares and its creditworthiness. And also some predictions of what the inquiry of Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, will bring out. But that inquiry is not 1 month old. In fact, it's years old. We have the finance minister on record confirming the inquiry in 2021. Not only SEBI, the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence were digging, according to the reply finance minister gave in the parliament. And what have they found out so far? Nobody knows. Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Mohitra has been asking about Adani even before that, ever since the huge rally of Adani stocks began in 2019. But was heckled in parliament and her questions stonewalled by SEBI.
Sir, Mr. Chairperson, sir, are you going to do your job? And please ask the honourable gentleman to sit down.
Am I being prejudicial about SEBI? Yes, a bit. I am prejudicial and I am skeptical. But it is not just because the way SEBI has dealt with Adani allegations. Its entire track record for some decades is dubious. It's pathetic and silly also. It has botched most of the investigations on scams that shook the country. Remember the National Stock Exchange controversy? A mysterious Himalayan yogi advising the chairperson of world's largest derivative exchange, Mrs. Chitra Ramakrishna. The stock exchange officials were alleged to be helping a particular broker in getting market information a bit earlier than others. It was made possible allegedly by allowing them to log in early into the system. That was in 2015. 7 years have passed. And what is the status now?
The Securities and Appellate Tribunal or SAT has set aside the SEBI 625 crore rupee disgorgement order against NSE in the alleged co-location scam case, saying that it was patently erroneous. The tribunal also slammed the markets regulator for not conducting its own probe and instead asking the board to probe the allegations against itself.
Yes, the Securities and Appellate Tribunal in this January, has thrown out the SEBI investigation report. The 1,000 crore fine with interest imposed on Chitra Ramakrishna and party goes down the drain. NSE may pay rupees 100 crore only, and that also not for fraud but for not following the procedure. A scam that shook the country with all its absurdities is all set to die out. Is it because the SEBI did the job but the tribunal was more lenient towards the accused? From the verdict, actually it seems that SEBI was more lenient, not the tribunal towards them. Paragraph 255 of the order reminds us that even the investigation was not conducted by the SEBI. SEBI asked NSE, the party whose bosses are alleged to have done the crime, to investigate. The order tears further into the responsibility of SEBI. I quote, "We find that SEBI has adopted a slow approach and in fact was placing protective cover over NSE's alleged misdeeds. It's only when the questions were placed on the floor of the parliament that SEBI woke up and instituted an investigation." The Securities and Appellate Tribunal order has pointed out some absurd orders SEBI itself has passed relating to the scam. Exactly opposite orders were passed in two different cases with the same premises. One is about NSE, which says that early login to the sender servers, which is the eye of the scam, did not give any broker an advantage. And in another ruling about the broker who is alleged to be behind the scam, it says early login did give the firm an advantage. And the most absurd part is that these two orders were passed down exactly the same date and with the same SEBI official. What an organization. I didn't say it, the tribunal said it. You may think at least some action must have been already taken against the person who is responsible for contradictory and thus absurd orders. No, nothing happened. Business goes as usual in SEBI. Still believe in SEBI? Want to give them the benefit of doubt since financial frauds are not easy to prove? I will tell you about an open and shut case. One where the culprit confessed his crimes, the Satyam scam. It was a 9,000 crore scam in 2009 when the chairman Ramalinga Raju confessed to manipulating the books of the company to hike the profits. An open and shut case, isn't it? But cases around it, especially ones dealing with the purity part, are still dragging, even after 14 years. Meanwhile, the SEBI rulings on the case have been thrown out twice by the Securities and Appellate Tribunal. The last happened this February, a few days back, yes. The tribunal pulled up SEBI for differential treatment of the accused. One lot were barred from doing share trade for 14 years and another group for 7 years, while the crimes accused against the both groups remained the same. The tribunal asked how such a time frame was calculated and SEBI failed to provide a satisfactory reason. Another was the calculation of losses incurred. That was also found erroneous. First finding was 1,800 crore as losses, which was discarded. And then SEBI came up with a figure of 813 crore, which was again disallowed. The Securities and Appellate Tribunal has now asked SEBI to do a fresh look at the case altogether. Even in a case where the prime accused gave a confession, that too without any compulsion, SEBI couldn't shut the case, close the case properly. I am not forgetting the fact that the adversaries SEBI has to face have deep pockets. They will pursue the case up to the Supreme Court. They are also very influential. But so is SEBI. It's a very powerful regulator which has an online real-time surveillance system and can even arrest people in the context of investigation. It has a wide range of powers. But so far, all its investigations are flop shots. And now SEBI is hesitantly wading into inquiring Adani. Good luck with that. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court is also setting up another inquiry. They are very serious, and it is good that the court has discarded the names in a sealed cover from the union government. They mean business. But what is the track record of similar committees so far? Remember the infamous Harshad Mehta scam of 1992? A special court was set up for speedy trial and a committee under Janaki Raman for a wider investigation into the scam. The scam had shook the country. Can you believe? Even now, proceedings in the special court are far from over after 30 years. And for the Janaki Raman committee, the report, even though it was very extensive and worthy, was of no use. The CBI, which investigated the scam, didn't pick the clues from the report. The report had extensive clues and extensive evidences. CBI didn't pick it. The Joint Parliamentary Committee, which was also set up to investigate, they too ignored the findings. In short, the report went straight into trash bin. Then came the Ketan Parekh scam of 2001, a fraud of 40,000 crore by some estimates. Modus operandi was almost similar to Harshad Mehta, and so was the proceedings against it. Joint Parliamentary Committee was set up, which did nothing other than a vague instruction to SEBI to investigate the matter further. And if you scan through all newspaper reports, you can see that the promoters of Adani Group were banned from stock markets for 2 years, but later were let off on paying Rs 17 lakhs in consent fees and other charges. And the very next week, Adani Group filed a draft prospectus for public issue of his company Adani Power. The rest is history. That year, 2001, was even more eventful. Soon the UTA scam happened. The Unit Trust of India was the first mutual fund in India and was run by the government. The dividends were manipulated to attract customers for some time, and finally in 2001, it went out of control and was caught. A committee under Dr. S.S. Tarapur was formed which unearthed the whole story. It said that it was a detailed story of the whole scam, but the report never saw daylight. And all the top guns escaped. Even the UTA chairman was spared. Well, that's the story of our investigation committees so far. Nothing happens. And we don't have anything to believe that this time it will be different. We will never even know what happened in the inquiry, who came before the committee, said what and when. Ever since the Harshad Mehta scam, it has been an in-camera affair, a secret. For a change, will the Apex Court consider making the proceedings of the committee, this new committee, public? Make the depositions and other proceedings of the committee open. Let the people come in and know what's happening there. The citizens of the country deserve at least that. That's all from us. Goodbye till we meet again.